We are only 5 days out from Season 2 of The Witcher being released on Netflix, and ahead of the release, Netflix have released 26 different images from the show. So in this video, we're going to go through these images and break them down. So first up here, we have Graham Mctavish. This is the first look at Graham as Sigismund Dijkstra. Now, this is a character that a lot of people have been looking forward to. I'm personally a fan of Graham Mctavish. I love him in most of the things I've seen him in, whether that be Outlander, Preacher, The Hobbit. He's a Scottish actor, and I think he's very, very good. Him as Dijkstra, when it was announced, I thought that was a great casting, honestly. Although I do think now we're seeing his look, he looks pretty cool. I really like this look. He looks great. He's not entirely what I'm used to for Dijkstra, though, because, like, in the games, obviously, Dijkstra doesn't have a beard. He's clean shaven, and so when I think of... That was my first introduction to the character, because I played the games before I played the books. And so in my head, he was kind of clean shaven, but hey, it would be a crime to ask Graham to shave off that beautiful beard of his, so I'm not complaining. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. The Redanian spymaster himself, he looks great. Next up, we just have this image of Henry Cavill's Geralt, and yeah, I don't know where they are at this point. It looks like he's got some blood or something over him. I see some yellow markings. I'm not sure what this yellow stuff is on him. But yeah, he's been in some sort of fight, that's for sure. Maybe it's like guts from a monster or something he's killed. We can also see here his eyes are bright yellow. Next up here we have Yennefer, and I'm not really sure what Yennefer's doing here or where she is. She looks very rough. If I'm trying to remember, this looks like it might be following on from the Battle of Sodden at the end of Season 1. I don't remember what she was wearing then. Okay, so this is what Yennefer was wearing at the Battle of Sodden, and this is what she's wearing. Okay, so no, this isn't the same. This is not the same outfit. This is not immediately following on. This is obviously a different thing entirely. Next up here we have Siri, and I want to guess this is going to be part of the Grain of Truth episode. That's kind of what this looks like here. She's wearing these furs. She's in some sort of dark house, dark building. I mean, this could be Kirmoren, but I don't think so. I think this is probably in Nevellin's manor. Then we have Yaskir, and you know, I kind of prefer how he's looking this season. I think he looks a bit more grumpy. He looks a bit more sad, and to be fair, that's how he should be looking for Blood of Elves, because Blood of Elves gets quite intense for him. Next up, we have an updated picture of Triss now, and we do have another one of her later that I actually think looks a little bit better. But this, what you can see immediately, is that there have been some changes made to Triss's appearance from Season 1. You can see here, this is Triss from Season 1. Obviously, this is a huge difference going back to this. Like, that is, wow. Like, I'm gonna keep this image here just because there is another one of Triss coming up, and I would like to compare that to as well. But you can see the hair especially. The hair looks entirely different, and I do think that that's actually made her look so much better. I mean, I'm not sure about this outfit vibes. I'm getting some weird vibes there. I saw someone in a Discord I was in mentioned that they thought it was almost like gypsy vibes, and I kind of see where that's coming from. But I do think immediately, I think the hair is so much better, and just the hair being that way makes her look so much younger. Like, don't you think she looks so old here? It's really strange. She looks way too old in this image, but in this one, she looks much younger. I mean, I don't think she looks perfect, and there is another better image as I say I'm going to get to, but yeah, she looks much better, because one of the big complaints people had about Triss from Season 1 was she looks too old. That was one of the big things, and it was a lot of it was to do with the hair. She looks way too old. I mean, if you've read the books, you know that the whole dynamic is supposed to be Triss and Siri have almost this sister sort of dynamic. Like, Triss is supposed to be like a big sister to Siri. Meanwhile, Yennefer is almost supposed to be like a parental mothering figure. Meanwhile, in the show, Anna Schaefer's Triss looks way older than Anya Chalotra's Yennefer, so it was a little bit strange to see in Season 1, but I'm glad that, although not perfect, although she still does look a bit older, they've managed to tone that down a little bit. So next up we have this image of Geralt and Siri obviously riding somewhere, and I think this looks right after the end of the Season 1, I believe. This looks like the exact same outfit she was wearing when they met. Double check this here, just to make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, look, you can see that right here. You can see this comparison. Look at what she's wearing here on this horse, and there's Geralt next to her. And yeah, look, they're wearing the same outfits. It almost looks like she got hooves for hands. That's a bit of a bad still. But yeah, she's wearing the same outfit there, so I'd imagine this is like right after this. Which is maybe telling, because maybe that means that the season is going to start basically where we left off. Maybe there's not going to be any sort of jump. It looks like it's going to be like right after. Here we have Geralt and Tasaya, and that's a bit of a strange one. Not one I was sure we were actually going to see, because I don't believe that's really something we see in the books, not in Blood of Elves anyway. I'm trying to remember if they ever have a scene in Time of Contempt or not, but I honestly can't remember. Maybe they meet at Thaned. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and read just to remember, but there was nothing that I particularly remember. I'm guessing this is Sodden, maybe? This because if this looks the same as Geralt was wearing in that last image, which would be right at the end of the last episode of the last season, and so that was set in around the same time as the Battle of Sodden Hill. And Tasaya looks a little bit rough here. She looks like she did at the end, so I think that might be like the aftermath. And you can kind of see a bit of a forest in the background. Next we have this one, and this is obviously Geralt again, and I want to guess this is again in Nivellen's manor. I want to guess this is part of a Grain of Truth. It does, again, looks like he's wearing that same outfit. And that's maybe telling for what episode this is, because the first episode of the season is A Grain of Truth, which is going to be that adaptation of the story involving Nivellen and the Bruxa. So it looks like this is probably what that is. And then here we get a first look. Well, we've had looks already at Kirmoren, but out of these images, this is the first look at Kirmoren and Vesemir in the background behind Geralt here. Then we have another one of Geralt. I don't know where this is, honestly. He's got a cloak on. He looks to be a bit more cleaned up compared to the other images we had seen with him with Siri. So I'd imagine it's maybe not quite at that same time. And then here we have Yennefer. And so the question now is, where is Yennefer here? Now there's some images coming up. And I've got two ideas where this could be. I believe this could be Thaned. So yeah, I believe this could either be... This is either going to be the Temple of Malitala, or it's maybe Thanev. I'm not sure. And I'm going to get to that in another image that's coming up. We've got this other image of Yennefer here, and she's... I'm guessing this is like in the... After the Battle of Sodden Hill, I'm guessing like this is the aftermath of this, and she's in this forest lying here. Not really sure what's going on. Then here we get our first look, and this is in the Temple of Malitala. And this is Siri in the temple. And next we have here Mother Neneka in the same temple. And again, this, I believe, is also the same place. So, looking at this, that could very well be the same place. Let me open this Yennefer one back up. That could very well be the same place. Like, the architecture looks very, very similar, if you ask me. Like, if you look at, like, these pillars and how there's chunks taken out of them there. There's a lot of that kind of going on here. I know they're like a different direction, but it does look very, very similar. So it is possible they're the same place. And so next up, we've got this other picture of Triss, and this is the one that I was mentioning earlier. So if we compare this one to, I mean, look at that. Look at that difference. That is a much better Triss. Look how much younger she looks. She looks so much better compared to season 1. That is, I like that. I actually like that look. Judging by all the other images I've seen of her, I'm like, that's not good. Some are better, some are worse, but I've never thought, okay, that's a good Triss. That looks pretty good, I think. Pretty good. Still a bit too old, I think, because of Yennefer, but that's more an issue with the Yennefer casting, I think. That actress should have maybe been a little bit older, but this Triss, I like that. I like this image. I think that's a good one. And here we've got Tasaya, and this is back to that same area. So I'm guessing maybe she's talking to Yennefer here, because this looks very similar. You see those plants behind her. And we've got another one of Tasaya here, and this looks like, is that Vilgefortz? Or is that Yennefer? Like, I can't quite tell. I'm saying Vilgefortz, but it's probably not Vilgefortz at all, but it looks like this is the aftermath of Sodden. You can see the dead soldiers in the background. You can see kind of, is that ash, I think, in the sky. And here's another one, and this looks like part of the same scene from these pictures. And so my question becomes, right, so this one is 100% the Temple of Malitala. But when I look at this, right, this image, that looks like Thaned to me. That's exactly what this looks like. I can't see it being anything else, and that's Tasaya there. So that makes me think this is also that, which makes me think this is also that. And so then there's this, but this is actually the temple, and so I'm trying to work out, maybe, am I just getting this wrong? Is that not Thaned? Like, no, that definitely has to be, right? But I feel like this is the same place. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe these first three are one place and this is another. But at the same time, some of these look really linked, so I'm not sure. Maybe this one is just throwing me off. Maybe that one is a completely different place. Next up, we've got a look at Frangilla, and looking all mopey. Not much I can say here. Another one of Vesemir, looking pretty decent. Another Vesemir with some medallions. Again, not much I can really say here. Skull the Wolf medallion there. That looks like a lion or a griffin or something. And here we've got Cahir. First look at Cahir. You can see he's kind of growing out that facial hair. It looks like he's been held prisoner somewhere. Next up we have this. I believe, what's the name of this character? I've got it here somewhere. Francesca Findabar's brother, Gage, or Gage. I'm not sure how they're pronouncing that. This is not a character that existed in the books, but it's been written into the show, and so that's who this character supposedly is. And the last image they released was this one, and it's just this sort of image of this forest. Looking pretty cool, looking pretty snazzy. Anyway, folks, I think that's about it. I think that I've covered all these images. Let me know what you're thinking about some of this stuff in those comments down below. Do you think you like the look of some of these images? Do you not? Do you have an opinion on what some of those things might be? Like, I know I was going between, oh, is that Thaned? Is that the temple? Like, which are you leaning towards for some of those images? Like, what do you think? What scenes are some of these things coming from? Anyway, as always, if you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more Witcher videos from me on this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button.